Betty, thank you, Betty on the violin, and Jack, beautiful music, and Dorothy singing my favorite song, Surely the Presence. Thank you. Well, here we are on this journey. Yeah. I have to warn you, I might get a little mushy today, just a little bit, but I'll try not to be cringy, okay? But you know we have to start with a joke. So a kindergarten teacher gave her class a show and tell assignment, and she instructed each student to bring an object to share with the class that represented their religion or their spiritual path. And so the first student got up and said, "My name is Benjamin. I'm Jewish, and this is the Star of David." The second student got up in front of class and said, "My name is Mary. I'm Catholic, and this is my rosary." And the third student stood up and smiled and said, "My name is Tommy. I'm Unity, and this is my casserole dish." So on that note, I do want to thank the hospitality team for we have a fabulous fare waiting for us in the other room. Let's give them a hand again. Thank you. And you know, the casserole, isn't that like unity philosophy a little bit? You know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it all melds together really well and nourishes the soul, nourishes the soul. And spiritual community is like that too, right? We are a potluck of God's offerings right here with our own, each person brings their own special seasoning and spiritual spice to the mix of this banquet that we call spiritual community. So today is an impossible task because I can't say it all. Can't say it all, but please know that I love and appreciate each and every one of you, and I will miss you. And I hold dear to my heart all the gifts that you have given me in spirit. Yes. And I just see this community just blessed and walking in grace and see very good things coming to this community that are already on the way. And the board will be sharing more as that develops. And I also want to say you have an excellent board here. I don't think I've laughed so much at our board meeting the other day. So board, stand up so we can give you a hand. Dorothy, Sunshine, Betty, Jim, thank you for your service. And you know, if you want to get on the fun and be on the board, come and talk to board president here, Jim, for the coming year, right? Yeah, they have a lot of fun and get things done. So love is leading the way. Love has led us here, and love is leading the way. And I look forward to connecting after service in our time of fellowship as well. So I was thinking about the first time I spoke here, and the theme back then was prosperity. So I thought we are just going to come back to that and touch on that today, prosperity and gratitude for the journey. And I like that phrase because it can be taken both ways, gratitude for the journey that's already been, but taking gratitude forward, and I think I heard that in the song that you were singing, we take that forward on our path. So, we remember that prosperity is not a place to get to, but a place to come from, right? And it's that awareness that God provides, that there is one presence, one power active in the universe, and I am one with that power, what we affirm every week here. And so prosperity is living that more and more. And knowing that with God there is always an answer, there is always a way. So we keep walking in grace, in gratitude, in faith. And in a moment, we are going to pray the surprise abundance prayer together. How many of you have been doing that on your own? Quite a few. And there are a yellow sheet in the back that if you want to pick one up too, Dennis is getting those. This is a powerful prayer. I want to say a little bit about this prayer, first of all. So the idea is to up-level our prosperity consciousness from wherever it is now. And I'm thinking it's pretty good, right? We're all here. This is taking it to the next level, this prayer. And the idea is to affirm it twice a day, in the morning and the evening, to remind ourselves how rich and blessed we already are. And doing it as community amplifies the effect, right? Where two or more are gathered, amplifies the effect. So I just want to share, the first time I did this at the first church where we did this, someone received a surprise inheritance. Another person sold their home for way more than was asking. A forgotten insurance policy was discovered and cashed in. Checks for refunds, discounts, rebates poured in. So this prayer is powerful. I had a surprise abundance this week with my electric bill up in where I live, that county. Yeah, you get was like $75 rebate. Oh, thank you. That was surprise abundance, you know? So it's just so fun to see how that shows up when we up-level our prosperity consciousness. One presence, one power. So who's ready to get in the flow of God's substance and up-level your prosperity consciousness? Yes. Okay, here we go. Now, this is like a treatment prayer, so it takes a lot of breath, so we won't go too fast when we use that. We'll just let it sink in. And so all the blank spaces is your name, so you're going to say your own name there, but you can say my name if you want. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. I, Robyn, know that there is one loving power operating throughout the universe. I am one with this infinite source of prosperous abundance. This infinite resource of abundance is within me and all around me. So I, Robyn, affirm right now that I am in the flow of full prosperity in all areas of my life. My finances, my health, my career, and my loving relationships, especially my relationship with myself. I am open and receptive to this prosperous flow of good, and I give back in kind. For I know that universal law works in both directions. As I sow, so shall I reap. Therefore, I gratefully share my good with love. I bless it, and it multiplies abundantly. I am rich in God's love, and that love is so full. It flows with great abundance and enriches me. I reaffirm that I am one with the infinite source of prosperity and that all good flows to me. That I am a prosperous, loving, healthy person involved in exciting, creative expression. I, Robyn, accept this good that enriches me and all with whom I have contact. With gratitude, I release this affirmative prayer into the loving law of the universe, knowing that its work is already done. And so it is. Amen. Sing it, Jack. So just let that sink in more. Yeah. The truth of our being, we are prosperous beings, healthy, wealthy, and wise, worthy of all good. All good. So how many of you have seen this before? This is called the Moses Bridge in the Netherlands. And when I saw this, it just made me, it kind of gave me goosebumps, because the symbology of this is so beautiful that, you know, you remember the story about Moses and being chased by the Egyptian army and coming to the Red Sea, and it looks like there's no way out. But a little dialogue with God, and Moses did some things, and the seas parted, and they were safe to the other side. So that Red Sea is like those obstacles that just look so big and impossible in front of us, but when we raise our consciousness, the staff, our consciousness, the way opens, and we are shown how to get to the other side through it. So whatever you're going through right now, if it looks like the Red Sea, just lift and trust and know in prayer, a way will be shown through. Yes. So, prosperity is that state of mind. And I love teaching prosperity and taking prosperity workshops, and I have to confess that what got me in there when I was new to Unity was I was a single parent. I was looking at my bank book and saying, you know, trying not to be petrified of what was showing up there. And so I was really interested about, you know, how does this work in my checkbook? How does this work practically? And so we know prosperity includes money, yes, but there's so much more to it, that as we affirmed in that surprise abundance prayer, it's about health and well-being. It's about happiness. It's about ease and grace and peace. About satisfying relationships and enjoying life. Going to bed at the end of the day with, satisfaction. And having those good relationships with self and with God. So we are blessed to have these spiritual tools, aren't we? These spiritual tools, prayer, meditation, affirmation, and knowing that our power of focused thought, along with emotion, that energy of emotion, with that we create either a heaven or somewhere else. And I saw this sign. If you were looking for a sign today, this might be it. Don't we just need that sometimes, you know, just like get going up there? Yeah, creating problems in your head again. So we know that we have the power to create that heaven today. And that song, I'm choosing heaven today, we have sung that a few times, yes. So we can be the light, be the bridge. Go back there. So it's so important now more than ever, right, to keep ourselves uplifted, prayed up, in the light, looking for the good, looking for the bridge across what looks like troubled waters or what looks like impassable. And especially with, you know, seeing reports of tragedy around the world and witnessing man's inhumanity to man. It's hard sometimes and heartbreaking. Challenging to the mind and heart. And so we have influence and act where we can in small ways, powerful ways, and lift everything else to prayer. Lift it all to prayer and pray for peace. Pray for peace. And know that we are alive in this moment for a purpose. For a purpose. That when things seem super crazy out there, if it was just at crazy level 1, if it's gone up to crazy level 4, 5, that's just calling out more of our light. If we were at light level 1 or 2, guess what? It's like, turn up the dial, folks. Let's pray more. Let's sing more. Let's tap into the joy more. Let's have compassion. Let's heal those ancient grudges within ourselves. Let's heal that war of consciousness within ourselves and know that that makes a difference. With that saying, when the tide rises all boats, the tide lifts all boats. So we are that tide of light that lifts all consciousness and creates a space, a mental space for grace, for peace. And to remember this, I saw this, and I love this. I want to share with you by Donna Ashworth. She reminds us, most people are good. Most people kiss their pets goodbye and read just one more bedtime story to their children. Most people visit their grandparents even when they have no time, and stop to check on quiet friends after a day too long and draining. Most people return their shopping carts despite already being late. Most people return their shopping carts, especially to Aldi, and most people let someone with only one item in line go ahead. Most people give money when money is scarce. And most people are concerned about people they don't even know, day in and day out. So when the world seems bad, remember, most people are good. So that one presence, that one power, that prosperity thinking is that up-leveling in light, just not knowing it up here, but in the line, in the parking lot, smiling at the stranger. You might be the only sign of connection and humanity for that person all week. To be that light. I love this from the book of Matthew 5:14. Jesus reminds us, "You are a light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a basket. Instead, they set it on a lampstand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." So we know heaven is a here and now experience. A heaven is the flip side of that sign, right? We're creating heaven in our mind today. Continue that. That divine light, that God in you, letting God be God in you. So we think about Jesus and other spiritual masters and people we looked up to in the spiritual world, that they didn't eliminate unwanted circumstances, and nor did they promise that we would be exempt either. But they showed us how to walk through them, through that way that God opens up, through that way that faith opens up, that love opens up, because love always finds a way to heal, to harmonize, to connect, to bring that awareness and experience of wholeness. So what if, and maybe some of you are already do this like all the time, but what if we could become so aware of our spiritual capacities? You know, we've been talking about those capacities, those 12 powers this past year: faith, love, imagination, strength, zeal this month. What if we could be so aware of this power that we have, that we can walk through the unwanted circumstances the same way we walk through the wanted circumstances? So does anybody already do that? Yeah. Getting there, yeah. It's a practice, isn't it? You know, because we get to decide which way am I going to choose heaven today? Am I going to choose fall into that pit of worry? Yeah. So powerful. Your mind is so powerful. So gratitude for the journey past and taking thankfulness with us for the road ahead. Gracefully riding the waves of change. Yeah, that's a daily practice too, isn't it? Yeah, with the heart at the center. Flow in the heart. So gratitude when it's going our way and when we're unsure of the way. God knows the way. And I want to share a little bit about me coming to Unity of Carlsbad at the very beginning. It's a prosperity story. So I have to go back to 5 years ago when I was living up in Northern California. And I'd been having this heart's desire for a while when I was up there to be near my family here. And I didn't know how that was going to happen. That's a 500-mile move, you know, a big move. And so I would just pray about it and ask for guidance about the how, about the when. And I remember sitting, and I had a little sunny spot in that apartment that I would sit there and pray and kind of daydream. And this idea just landed very lightly like a ladybug on my shoulder that said, what if you could be the minister at Unity of Carlsbad? It was just a little whisper 5 years ago. And part of me laughed and said, oh yeah, you who graduated from Carlsbad High School had that caption like least likely to be a minister. You can ask my sister about that. But it was just a whisper that landed. And then my logic argued with it because I went on the website and I thought, oh, they already have 2 ministers. Oh, no. So this little ladybug of a divine idea would land when I least expected it. You know, it's like, there that is again, okay. And so through some synchronistic events, you know, when it's right, the doors just open. It's easy. We don't have to strain or push or pull. It's just there. We're supported. We're supported. So through these synchronistic events, I was able to find a wonderful apartment in Carlsbad over there, schedule the move, get the pod, move down here. And I remember the first time I walked into this church, and I felt immediately welcome. There was such warm energy, friendliness, kindness, laughter, great music. The bowls, the singing bowls, I'd never seen that in a church before. And I'd been to a lot of Unity churches as guest speaker and visitor, and that was so precious, so beautiful. And the minister at the time, I loved her meditations and just the spiritual food. It was great. I think Dennis might have tried to sell me a house too. But I felt the oneness. You know, I just stepped in these doors and I just felt the oneness. And after being at so many churches, that's not always the case. This is something so precious and special in this community that is still here. It's part of the core essence of Unity Church of Carlsbad. Yeah. And that love is a magnet. It is a magnet that is working even now to draw the good here. Yes. So this is a prosperity story because with the move, and then I was coming just as a visitor when I moved here, and a blessed surprise abundance was seeing Reverend Jackie walk in the room. We went to class together, and classmates at Unity Village like, Jackie, you're here. It's like, wow, okay, how good can it get? And then being invited to guest speak, being invited to guest speak. And then being offered the position. It's like, you can't make this up. Like God just kept opening the doors. And so when you're ever wondering, riding a wave, I like what Dorothy Pearson used to say. She said, I'm in the flow of I don't know. But God knows. But God knows. And so we began, and then 2 months later, the building closed because of the COVID, the pandemic, closures. So we had to get creative. To stay connected, and we did, that's true, to ride out the storm and have some grace for the waves of change. And then this divine idea came about a parking lot service on the radio. Oh my gosh, I think that was Ken Harrison's idea. Yes. And so who remember those days? We just park out there and then get out for the peace song, and Jack would sing by the car because we were had these wires going everywhere. Oh my gosh. That was kind of fun, actually. And then, so this journey we've been on, of riding the waves of change, staying connected, staying heart-centered, staying in love. And then when we did get back in the building, it was like starting over again, because some of our volunteers had stopped coming during the pandemic, and so we're building up again, and we're still building up again. And I want you to know how special this is, because many churches, and Unity churches too, did not come back after the pandemic closures. They shut their doors. So this speaks to something really good here, that spiritual community, that's God's idea, is here, unfolding. Divine idea, heart to heart. Connection, that love, blossoming, always. So what I know about this community is that you are resilient. You are resilient, you are loving, you're resourceful, creative, faithful. We have great coffee, thank you, Harry. And lots of joy and laughter and lightness. Oh gosh, I was so glad that you laughed at my jokes. People don't always do that. But so I just felt like you get me. We just had a resonance here that was such a blessing for me. So I want you to know that I am a better person because you love me. And I'm a better leader because we love God together. And we let love lead the way. And so, Unity of Carlsbad, keep walking in love. Keep walking in grace. Keep walking in that gratitude. Because good is always here and good is on the way. Thank you. I love you. God bless.